It didn't start with the 1972 break-in at the Democratic headquarters in the Watergate building. According to Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein, it was part of a pervasive pattern of lawbreaking all through the Nixon administration.
Illegal plans, illegal burglaries. Really, the White House became a kind of criminal enterprise by the end of his presidency to a remarkable extent that I think we didn't understand at the time.
Woodward and Bernstein tracked down and pieced together their narrative of cover-ups, payoffs, and covert operations, much of it later confirmed in the president's own words, caught on his White House taping system. On the tapes, they found Nixon as early as 1971 talking about stealing evidence to blackmail former President Lyndon Johnson. Nixon believed that there were documents in the safe of a Washington think tank proving that Johnson halted the bombing of Hanoi for political reasons.
I want it implemented on a thievery basis and get in and get those files. Blow the safe and get it.
It was strategic on Nixon's part that anyone who was an opponent, anyone who was a perceived enemy, anyone who was on the other side, he would go after them.
Given the state of politics today, the standoff between the two parties, the inability to compromise, why should anybody conclude that the idea that I have to win and you have to lose is any different?
The partisan hostility, the gridlock that we experience today is indeed, the acrimony runs very deep. But I have not seen any evidence that somebody's hired a burglary team or gone out to wiretap.
Were there lessons learned?
I think there's an increasing concentration of power in the presidency, so it needs to be watched really carefully. That's the ultimate lesson. Watch concentrations of power. How are we doing in the media? Okay, but probably not good enough.
Best thing I ever heard was from Richard Nixon's Attorney General, who later went to jail in Watergate. He said, "Watch what we do and not what we say." That pretty much tells us what we need to do. It's not that complicated.
Richard Nixon spent the last 20 years of his life trying to minimize the circumstances which led to his resignation. Woodward and Bernstein believed that in the end, the biggest tragedy was that Nixon was his own worst enemy. Bill Plante, CBS News, Washington.